Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. This morning, we're going to follow up on the executive order that President Biden issued regarding artificial intelligence. And the vice president this morning is in the United Kingdom on the same subject. We'll talk about that. And the Supreme Court is working to decide or is listening to cases and they will decide whether the public officials can block you on social media. We'll talk about that this morning. How about Ron DeSantis? He has a short guy complex, allegedly. At least that's what folks are saying. And 3 experts say he is wearing heighteners in his boots to appear much taller than he is. Thought that was kind of hilarious. And a pair of black female flight attendants are suing United Airlines, accusing the company of denying them promotions in favor of their younger, less experienced white colleagues. The flight attendants said they were kicked off flights carrying the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team, a highly coveted charter job. And Q-Tip will be the musical producer for Muhammad Ali, the musical, which debuts next year. We'll talk about that. But let's bring on our very special guest from the American Urban Radio Network, the one and only White House correspondent, Ebony Mcmorris. Good morning, Ebony. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here with the lovely Stacey Brown, the famous, never infamous, but famous. How are you?
Listen, I don't have to look at Austin's face. I look at your face and I'm like, I can do this every morning.
Well, it took a long time. Let me tell you something. From the waist down, I'm looking like bedtime.
Ebony, as you know, you were there. President Biden issued a wide-ranging executive order on Monday that aims to safeguard against threats posed by AI, ensuring that bad actors do not use the technology to develop devastating weapons or mount supercharged cyber attacks, and so much more. Ebony, again, you were there. What did you take away from the White House on Monday and this executive order?
Well, first of all, number one, off the bat, the president wants his administration to really be at the forefront when it comes to AI globally, domestically. And so the first thing going in, especially representing Black media, is how are we going to be protected? Because the first thing that on my mind was, of course, criminal justice system. It was, and he touched on that in this. The president made clear that this is just the first step because you cannot have this. It doesn't have teeth unless you have legislation that goes along with it. But the president did come out and he acknowledged what the potential risks are in this. He talked about deep fakes, which we have seen a lot of. He talked about how this could also, if we do not get a hold of this or ahead of this, which is a question, are we or are we not?
Right.
What could happen to disadvantaged communities, to seniors? So he covered a wide range of things. I'm glad that he came out and he talked about it so emphatically and acknowledged that there is more that has to be done on this. And I will say this immediately following, um, Chuck Schumer came out and did a presser with the media where we could ask questions about, okay, what we see a lot of organizations coming out and commending these steps that the president said. So new standards for safety and security, new privacy. They're looking at how to ensure the privacy of Americans, which is a big concern, especially when we talk about healthcare, right? and standing up for patient and student rights and supporting workers. How are people going to be affected? There are many stats that talk about how much AI is going to wipe out jobs. But then what about the opportunities? But if there are
Mhm.
opportunities, when you talk about communities of color, you got to deal with training and teaching and education. So we're kind of, I mean, it's a strange mix of things, right? When we talk about this, but he did double down on equity and civil rights. There were a lot of civil rights leaders in that room.
Yeah, it was, and you mentioned Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who's been doing his own work on AI. But you also hit on another hot spot. So, of course, communities of color. If America is behind on this, that means we're way behind, right?
Well, and here's the thing: earlier in the year, I don't know if many people are paying attention to it, but a group of AI researchers, engineers, CEOs, I'm talking about from Google to the creator of Chat GPT, I believe his name is Sam, I can't remember what his last name is, all came together and uh, sent a letter stating that they wanted to see if there could be, even Elon Musk was on this list, a
Hmm.
6 month pause in AI development because they are fearful of what could happen if we do not get ahead of this. Well, there was no pause, of course. And then later in May, they sent a 22-word statement. And we asked Chuck Schumer and the president about this. And that 22-word statement said mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war.
Wow.
That is the scale that is the risk that poses with AI if we are not ahead of this extinction. And
So,
so in the next 10 years, they were saying.
yeah, and so it's not just about, we hear about AI, Chat GPT, and others like creating books, and authors have sued, and we also worry about them in our business taking over some writing jobs, right? Just using
Right.
newspapers using, but it's much bigger than that, is what you're saying.
Ooh, let me tell you how much deeper. So, and I was trying to find the gentleman's name. He is an ex Google employee. He is actually one of the founders. And he was on a podcast answering the question, is AI conscious? Because that is a question that people grapple with. And most people will say, well, it's the people behind it that program it, and so if they're biased, of course we know that if they're biased, then the machines will be biased, which we're already seeing when we see AI applied in uh, immigration, where the Haitian immigrants, their dark skin wasn't even recognized on the CBD1 app, right? We see that in criminal justice all the time. But he said, what people need to understand is this is a learning machine. So it will begin to learn and to understand on its own. And what happens is if these learning machines begin to feel like they are at risk, what is it that they can do that will protect themselves and then shut you out? Will it be able to connect? I mean, the thing got so deep. I was like, oh my God. So he said, when you think of the word consciousness, think of the ability to process, to assess, and then not only that, to protect itself. What does
Wow.
that mean?
Wow.
It's loaded. I'm just a reporter. I'm just bringing the news. I'm trying to understand the concept.
Well, they said the White House said that the executive actions were the strongest set of actions any government in the world has ever taken on AI safety, security, and trust. But don't you need more than just executive orders?
so that's exactly it. And so when we saw the comments that came in, I literally just like ran over a lot of the press releases and statements coming from different organizations that work in this field, that monitor these fields, whether it was unions or civil rights organizations. And part of it was one in particular, and it just got me stuck. This was from the senior fellow with the Atlantic Council's Geo Tech Center. He's a strategy executive on technology. He said the executive order is vast in scope and the equivalent of vaporware. And I was like, what is vaporware? And it says the executive order is vast. It addresses multiple and very difficult problems. But it also said when it comes to vaporware software, that is something that sounds nice, that doesn't exist, and likely never will.
Wow. Wow.
So, but here's the thing: most everyone gave the president kudos and
Yeah.
absolutely for trying to do something on this because it's very important, right? So he has also um, had all of the agencies. He's instructed all of the agencies to examine, to look at the use of AI, to see how they can address any biases that can happen within any of these, any of the programs and what they do. And that goes back to the equity and civil rights. So when it comes to housing, right, he wants to ensure um, that there's guidance for landlords, federal benefits programs, to make sure that contractors keep AI algorithms from being used to exacerbate discrimination.
Mm.
When I saw what could happen in healthcare, we're talking about people's profiles and information being put out there, and will they be discriminated against uh, because a name or a picture comes up? Will they be put to the back? Will they not be allowed to see certain people or have access to certain things? It's about access. It's a lot, but he did get a lot of praise. In fact, from several the leadership conference on human and civil rights. They congratulated him, but said we have more work to do. The lawyers committee. One thing that they said that keeps sticking with me, and they were talking about criminal justice, and it says while it directs its agencies to assess how the tools in the criminal justice system work, it says it does not sufficiently address harmful uses of AI by law enforcement agencies.
Hmm. That could be
And
it.
the biggest thing is facial recognition. We have been
Yep.
talking about I don't know why these machines can't detect black folk, but I don't know what it is, Stacey.
They don't want
Why?
us to exist, Ebony.
I just thought the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. What is
Uh-oh,
going
here we
on with
go.
AI?
Here we
Who is
go.
programming these machines? So what will happen? You have some court systems that can be using it to set bail. Will it
Yeah.
be biased based on color or based on geographical location?
Well, Ebony, that they did early on, maybe a year or so ago, anyway, with Chat GPT. Um, it was reported that they spit out a lot of racist um, messages. You ask about certain things, and they just use racist language and things of that nature. So so you got to believe that the bots or robots or whatever are being trained that way, the same way Americans were trained, hundreds of years ago.
And here's the funny thing: the creator of ChatGPT came out and said what it would be able to do and what it won't be able to do. And someone was able to kind of break through it. They were dealing with something in stocks and bonds, and it would say, oh, no, it won't be able to pick stocks for you and do this for you. Sure enough, someone was able to break through and do it. And he said that this machine, this program, I'll say, is doing things that we did not intend for it to do. This is a learning machine that is way more intelligent, has consumed way more knowledge, and can analyze and assess quicker than we can. One thing that some people were calling for that I believe the EU is putting in their policy is a call for the use of a ban for the on the use of predictive algorithms in criminal justice system, and a call for a ban on the use of facial recognition technology. Why some people are saying why wasn't that in the executive order? Now, I don't want to come too hard because for those who haven't read it, I suggest you go back and read it. There is a lot that the
Yeah.
president has put in here, a lot. But the
Yep.
question is, will it have teeth? And will congressional members be able to work in a bipartisan manner,
You're right.
Lord Jesus, in order to make this happen? So far, yes, but piggybacking off the example that you gave, Stacey, there was a gentleman who asked. There's a whole clip on this online who
Hmm.
asked ChatGPT, should Palestinians be free?
Mm.
And should Israelis be free? The answer to Israelis was yes. The answer to Palestinians, well, it depends.
Wow.
I was like,
It's like a it's like a real life sci-fi movie. It's
and
going
we are
on.
living it very
Yeah.
real time. And there's a
Wow.
warning that is out there, but we do have to shift in how we work and how we like. There's a shift coming to every industry.
Listen, folks, there is the entire executive orders on whitehouse.gov. You can read it for yourself. Um, it's there. You can check it out. We only have the privilege of having Ebony for just a couple of more minutes. So I wanted to go into this before she has to bolt. The U.S.
I
Supreme
got a few
Court.
more minutes because I
Okay.
wanted. I got some jokes on DeSantis. I was working my comedic skills out last night. I just got to. I just got two. So.
Well, let's talk about the Supreme Court, though. They are hearing arguments on a pair of important cases that test the ability of public officials to block critics. You know, Trump would block folks on Twitter, and then he
All
got
the
kicked
time,
off.
left and right.
Yeah, but there are the two cases before them is one about a government in Michigan, Huron, Michigan, and the other forget where the other one originates from.
The,
But the thing about these two cases, Ebony, is that the public officials say each say that they started their own personal. They had their own personal social media before they were elected, and they used their personal social media, and they should be able to block whomever they want to block. But the argument against that is that, well, you're using your personal accounts to put out to disseminate official information. So you
right.
can't block a citizen from your social media.
Right.
Where's the court
And
going with this?
it's a lot. Well, so one, like you said before, is it's a city manager who blocks this person. I think it's the Freed and Linked case.
Yes.
Um, Freed, who's the city manager, blocked Link from commenting on his public Facebook page after he criticized him about COVID-19, his post on COVID-19. And so the question is, um, did Freed violate Link's First Amendment right by blocking him? So the court has to decide whether, like you said, someone from a public official social media page considered a violation, is that a violation of the person's freedom of speech? And Trump's name came up several times, like you said, uh, because he was always, like you said, posting on his social. And here's the thing: it's not just that he was doing policy talks,
Right.
and
That's the part. Yep.
it was policy conversations, and even in one of the cases, the person was posting information that people needed that could only be found on their site that was happening within. I believe that one was about the school board. Um, uh, it was the case of the Garniers versus the school district trustees. And so they were finding information that they had to go to. So now you using your page basically in this official capacity of someone in the government. And they were also posting like mixing it with family stuff and family pictures.
Right.
So it's one big hodgepodge of what is this. So what is? I think it has a lot of different legs because, well, here's what I'm going to say. The court was really confused. I'll just say that when I was looking through and listening to what some of the arguments were
Mm-hmm.
for, the question is, where is the line? What is it that you can and can say, and how this case can kind of redefine public and private spaces and lead to like what is public and what is private online when you are a government worker. And it could impact how employees also monitor and regulate employee behaviors on
Yeah.
social media, which we're already seeing this inside and outside of work hours. So,
Well, we're seeing people. I think it amounts to the same thing. We're seeing with the Israel Hamas
oh man,
conflict. We're seeing people lose scholarships. We're seeing people lose their jobs or losing job opportunities because of what they're posting on their personal accounts.
they're getting canceled left and right, left and
Yeah.
right. And so, what do you do even as an official working in that capacity if you want to say something? There's this, if you say I support Israel, then there's one way. If you say I support, if you say I support both, it's
Yeah.
almost like just so, but Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson during this raised concerns about the clarity of whether comments by officials are official or if they are personal. I was a little shocked though in the case of the person who changed, the city manager who changed his personal Facebook page to
Yes.
a work. Honestly, I was like, off the bat, I was like, no, why would you
That
do that?
that's not right.
That
It doesn't
that
pass
well,
the smell test.
it doesn't. I was like, why were you doing that anyway? Why are you giving information on your site that is not on the government site, but people now have to come to your site? So if
Yeah.
you are a government official, I should be able to say what I want to say to you. You
So
can't block me.
could they effectively make two different decisions with these cases, or will they be compelled to say, well, if we rule one way on this case, then we must rule the same way on that case?
That's a very good question. One that I actually have questions about too, because this is the, I think there's three other cases that the
Hmm.
High Court is going to hear on
Yeah.
this. And we won't, of course, get a decision until June, but that could be a possibility, depending on how they really scrutinize both of these cases. There are
Because
little
it's like what you
nuances in both
said.
of
The
them.
one case is really strange, in that the the
The city
the
manager case.
the city manager case, that's a strange case. I mean, you start just doing from your personal account all of the city business, and now you're
Right.
complaining about the comments, and you're complaining about, oh, I don't want this person following me. So you block the person. That's
With
something's
all your
wrong with that.
personal stuff. To me, that was too much mixing. With the other case of the board of trustees, the Garniers were blocked from commenting on the Facebook page of two school district trustees after posting lengthy comments. And so it really has, we are really seeing more and more debates about First Amendment rights. And I know
Yes.
I'm backtracking, but I'm telling you, the issue of First Amendment rights is also going to come up with AI.
Oh,
We've seen it in
absolutely.
the past come up with businesses.
Yeah. Well,
Watch how that
remember,
plays out with AI.
yeah,
Watch the rights that come.
remember, Ebony, when the Supreme Court struck down Roe v. Wade, the justices themselves pretty much were saying, there's no right that we might not come for. I mean,
Mm.
look, the look, the only thing that's stopping them from going after interracial marriage is the fact that Clarence Thomas hasn't.
Ooh, ooh. You better preach this morning. That's a whole word. The only.
I mean, so look, let's just face it. This is America, as my man says in his song. So Ebony, Ron DeSantis, is he heightening? Three experts say that he is heightening.
What is
He
going
he wears these
on?
strangely shaped cowboy boots, and but there they are. But three
It looks like
shoe
there's no
experts,
toes in the front. And don't nobody
right?
shoes sit that flat. I was like, come on, Ron. And as someone who wears heels all the time, come on, Ron. And here's what got me. For somebody who is always staunchly against everything LGBTQ, he is a closet stiletto wearer. This made me go like, so you wearing heels too, boo? That's what it is. It's always the ones who judge the hardest. Stacey, he come on out,
He
Ron.
got issues,
All
right? Because
right,
yeah, you're
you
right.
got issues. Always talking about being woke. Always talking about LGBT. Can't keep it out of your mouth. I knew it. So I'm gonna say, watch for folk who always criticizing and judging because they got something going on in their own life. See, you wear stilettos too, Ron. I thought about that. I had to get that.
So, yeah, so a lot of
This
people
story is
online.
crazy though. Why are we talking? Your campaign is that it That, like, that in the gutter, like, you're not going anywhere. And them heels without them heels, it's just, you flatlining.
Somebody, listen, Ebony. Somebody on Twitter, I think it was, called him Tiny D.
So I, Ron, Tiny D. Don't let Trump get a hold of that, because that he'll swap up and start
and
using that.
and look, to your point though, another Twitter, a TikTok user, not a Twitter user, TikTok user, uh, put a picture of DeSantis with his boots and captioned it "Slay Queen."
You better work. That's You better work, Ron. It. Oh my goodness! Look at the. I'm looking now. That's basically what it is. Come on out. It's all right. It's all right. But you know, it's funny because I was like, what is the average? Because once I saw the story, I was like, what is the average height? So the average height of a president has been around 5'11", and so these boosts, if
Like you
there
did a
is
deep dive, huh?
I did, because I was like, well, what was the tallest? What was the shortest? We all know Lincoln was the tallest. That Joker was a giant.
He was
Like,
a giant, yeah.
right? He, but the average is 5'11", and the shortest was James Madison at 5'4". Now I can't pick on short people too much, because I'm not stacking that high, but I'm comfortable in mine. I'm comfortable in mine, and I'm not running for president. But people tend to like taller presidents because it stands for leadership, and they're concerned about how it will look when we're talk global affairs. We want to look. Putin ain't that tall,
No, he's
and
not.
well, he ain't tall at all, but he does have a little complex with his. Maybe that's what we're seeing come out.
Listen,
Slay, Ron, slay.
Power 96, one of our viewers, Ebony, he says, "Not a closet stiletto where I am done."
It's okay. Comes it all. It is so funny how people pass judgment. But once that story came out, and it came out a little while ago, I did start looking. And for someone honestly who does wear shoes, for your shoe to be that flat when you walk, that means there's nothing really there,
Right.
right? Because if your toe was there, like I design shoes. I don't
Yeah,
design them, but I
listen,
sure enough
I'm going
wear
to
them
say
enough.
shoe expert Ebony Mcmorris.
Ron, is he gonna have to answer to that? Oh, I hope somebody asked him that on the stage. And he just and his walk is a little funky. Somebody was playing back his walk. It was a little like he's trying to
See, y'all
adjust
can
on it.
tell, right, that Ebony covers politics. That because she sees all this stuff. Y'all gotta
A
listen
little
to her.
funky.
She's on the American Urban Radio Network. She does a show on Instagram for
Yes, every
AURN
Friday.
every
Business
Friday.
for the culture.
It's for the culture.
Yes,
So
every
Ebony, tell
Friday
me
at
your
7.
handle.
Sure, it is Ebony McMorris. Ooh, hold on. Ooh.
Ebony's having a time this morning, y'all. She,
I gotta try to
she's
get me
having a
because I was
time.
throwing too much shade. It is Ebony McMorris all across social media. You can catch me there. And let's do this again, Stacey. Especially on stories like that. I love it. I love it.
We must do it again, Ebony, but we also must respect your time. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the AURN networks, the American Urban Radio Networks, and keep watching Ebony on Fridays and keep following her because she keeps putting out some great stuff from the White House.
Thank you for the work that
Appreciate it.
you're doing too. I love seeing Black media at the White House. Stacey, you and I both know.
Yeah. Well, Karine says the same thing. And so when we're there, when she sees our faces, I think it really helps her smile. Was that her, by the way, before you go? I saw some pictures on social media. Was she dressed as the HUD secretary? Or did the HUD secretary take the podium? Because I wasn't there yesterday.
So I wasn't there yesterday either.
Okay. Okay. Because there was some pictures on social media that appeared to show her dressing up as the HUD secretary, Marcia Fudge. So you gotta go check that out, Ebony.
Oh my goodness. Let me go. Oh man. I'm gonna go look at that right now. So
Yep.
get my material together for that one.
Ebony Mcmorris, thank you so much for joining Let It Be Known. We appreciate you for joining us this morning. We'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much. Bye
All
bye.
right. Ebony, like the stiletto, not the stiletto wearer, a closet stiletto wearer. Wow, folks. Also this morning, a lawsuit says that United Airlines replaced its black flight attendants with white women who did not have to interview for the highly coveted positions, um, per the Los Angeles Dodgers team's request. The pair of black female flight attendants have lodged this lawsuit, accusing the company of denying them promotions in favor of their younger and less experienced white colleagues. Um, One of the plaintiffs said that United fosters an environment of inclusion and does not tolerate United claims to foster an environment of inclusion and does not tolerate discrimination in kind, but they did. In this case, the plaintiff said they did. Even though the two women were among the best, according to their lawsuit, United selected less experienced attendants without interviews because they match the quote unquote look. And they alleged that one flight attendant who was actually Mexican, they referred to her as the flight maid because they wanted a quote Mexican to clean the bathrooms. She also said she received instructions to stop speaking Spanish with one of the Dodgers players because, quote, we are in America, and maintained that she's been subjected. She says she's been subjected to a lot of racist remarks, and she also says she's part Jewish, and they would say things like, Jesus died for you, even if you don't believe. Oh my gosh. But basically, this position, taking that charter flight with the baseball team, and the Dodgers are one of those sports teams like the Lakers. They're like rock stars when they travel, and so it is one of those. And because it's a chartered flight, it's one of those coveted and desired positions that flight attendants love to have. But here it's alleged that United continually picked white flight attendants to serve on the Dodgers flight anytime they left Los Angeles. One of the plaintiffs said they want young, white, thin women who do not have don't have experience. This is something we see all the time. So we'll see how that shakes out with United. I fly United sometimes. I mostly fly American. And as Power 96 says, what look? Match what look? The look of a Karen, a place, skin, oh gosh, a pale skin, flat booty woman that doesn't use seasonings on food. He always brings it back to food. You notice that? Yeah, but whatever the case, the two women that you see in the picture are the ones who have filed the suit and said that they are being discriminated. One is black, one is a Mexican/Jewish. We'll see how that shakes out. Also, so this just happened. Q-Tip is going to use his talents to bring the story of Muhammad Ali to the theater. Q-Tip has signed on to be the music producer on the on the musical Muhammad Ali. He's also going to be the co-lyricist for the musical. Additionally, Grammy Award winner, saxophonist, and vocalist Casey Benjamin has joined the production as an associate producer, as well as Sean Mays as music supervisor. Together, the trio builds out the team led by composer Teddy Abrams. Ali is set to premiere in his hometown, Louisville, Kentucky, ahead of his Broadway run at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts in the fall of next year. So a musical about the greatest, Muhammad Ali. We've seen movies about Ali. Of course, Will Smith really did a great job in playing Muhammad Ali on the big screen. Even before that, there was The Greatest way back when in the 70s. I think that movie came out when Ali was winding down his career. And Power 96 endorses Q-Tip. He says, I will definitely watch now. He says Q-Tip is 100. Q-Tip is the man, ain't he? So Ali is getting the musical treatment. Everybody's getting the musical. Everybody's getting the musical. That is great. That is fantastic to see this. I wonder how it's all going to unfold. So Q-Tip got the music part covered. So let's see who has the acting, and Ali float like a butterfly. So who's going to be able to float like a butterfly on that Broadway stage? We'll find out, because they haven't said who's going to star in it. We just got the production team. So we'll see. Folks, we had some fun this morning, and it was good to have Ebony Mcmorris. Thank you all. It's always good to have y'all checking us out each weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for joining Let It Be Known. We'll see you tomorrow.